Monday. I think I'm live. Hope so. That's the plan anyway. And here on my Facebook page, this evening I am going to show you the cards in my Gone Fishing card class to go and give you the details about how to get this class delivered straight to your mailbox. Yep, there it is. Class delivered straight to your mailbox. Alrighty, I have pinned a comment about commenting if you're watching. And if you are watching, you are going to need to let me know. Turn off captions because that's distracting. I can see like numbers, but that doesn't always work real great for me to know that you are actually there. If you're actually there, comment that you're watching and we'll see how it goes. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. I have included the host code. That's the important part of these card classes to go. There's a host code associated with it, and it lets me know that you want this card class. You place a $35 minimum order in my online store. All of that will be included in a link. When I get finished, then I'll edit and include that. If you are on my email list, you have already been receiving information about that with active links. If you aren't on my email list, sign up. Go to my, there's many different ways. Comment here, send me an email, go to my online store. There's a place to sign up for my email list. Go to my blog. There's a place to sign up. In fact, a box pops up when you go to my blog. So that's probably the quickest and fastest and easiest way. All of those links will be in this post. Alright, so I'm going to get started. This class, there are 3 cards. In your card kit, you will get to make 2 of each card. Currently, this bundle is not available. It is due to be in after the 1st of July. It's been very popular. It's a very cute, nice, masculine set, not just for Father's Day. Yes, there's a stamp that says Happy Father's Day, and I've made plenty of cards with it. I'll pop one over here to show you. Happy Father's Day. But then I also took it and did a happy birthday because, you know, Father's Day is one Sunday out of the whole year, but you have masculine birthdays all the time. So in your stamp collections, find a stamp that says happy birthday and sub it out. I purposely did not use the Happy Father's Day on the cards in this card kit so that it would be more tempting. And you could see, like this To a Great Guy is out of, whoops, I did not put that stamp set out. It's out of the Wildlife Wonder, which is a nice masculine set too. Sending birthday wishes. But To a Great Guy, and then you can write a message on the inside of it. Alright, what else do I need to tell you? Your $35 order will get you the card kits in the mail. If you place a $50 or more order, I will include some embellishments. We are using the classic matte dots, so I'll include a package of those. In your kits, you will have the little pieces of designer series paper cut, the card stocks that you need, any die cutting that involves this bundle I don't do, because the expectation is that you're going to want this bundle to make the cards. I will include the pieces of cardstock so you can do your stamping with the stamps and then do your own die cutting. If it's not something in the dies or in the stamp set, I'll do it because there's embossing on one. I think there might be a tag that you'll need. This one, you get to use the very vanilla piece of cardstock right here to stamp your sentiment on. So you can see, so glad that you're my dad. And you know what? That doesn't have to be just Father's Day. That can also be for a happy birthday. That you're glad that whoever your dad is your dad, even for his birthday. Or to a great guy. So, I'm going to lower this just a little bit. Please pardon my arms stuck up in your face. Let's see. I just feel like when I look at the video, it's so far away. And then I don't know what's crooked about all of this. And turn it that way. Okay, so let's get started. The card base for this one is, oh dear, let me get my package of paper. I don't think I made a example board. Is Pebbled Path. It's sort of a grayish brown, much like a pebbled path. And the cutting instructions will be in the PDF that is included. When I ship your kit, I will send you the PDF, so you'll have those instructions. Of course, you'll get 2 card kits, 2 of each card. So we've got, and it's a landscape card, not a portrait. It goes sideways. So you have to be careful with the sideways cards and the direction. This obviously has a direction. It's fly rods. I've never been fly fishing. The back side of the paper, you may note, is also used on this card. But it's a very small piece, so it was not difficult to alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this one, this designer series paper is just the card base, and there's a piece of very vanilla for the inside of your card. Stick that in there, and then the piece of very vanilla that we're going to use to mount the designer series paper on. And the cool thing about this paper is you can pick and choose how to cut the fish to get whichever fish, whoops, you would like to kind of showcase. And line that all up. Almost got it a little wacky. Then I couldn't decide on this piece if it goes up and down or if it goes sideways. And then I decided, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to put it on there. Oops, went right off. I hate it when my workspace is sticky. Dropped it. I'll turn this where I can see it. So I get it straight there and straight along that edge. And it maybe overlaps just a little bit because I think something's not cut square. The most popular color of ink is the Memento Black, and it's got a long name. It is called, it doesn't say on this one. It's Memento Black, and I'm going to make this one say to a great guy. Then I've used some of the In Color jute twine, and this In Color jute twine comes in the 5 new In Colors, and you could pick whichever color you would like. If you wanted, you do kind of have to keep in mind that you're mounting it on wild wheat, and there is wild wheat in these, but this one I think I'm going to use the copper clay. And for tonight's card, I'm just going to wrap it once. You will not get any trim in your kit because because it just practically doesn't make sense. But any twine that you have, if you want it to look exactly like mine, the list of supplies is provided, and you're welcome to purchase those items. I'm just tying it in a knot because, you know, fishermen have to make good knots. And then I rotated it so it was kind of more off to this side over here and wasn't blocking the view of our sentiment. And however you want these tails, I'm going to leave them that length, and then I'll have to decide later. This panel is mounted on dimensionals to give it some definition, and because this jute is thicker, it does stand up off the card, so I needed to compensate for that. You could use ribbon, you can use our linen thread, you can wrap it. I wrapped these twice. I used the pebble path, and it kind of goes over on the side. I'm going to go ahead and put this in so I won't keep fighting with it. I like using Vera Vanilla. Sometimes we get in such a rut always using basic white, basic white, basic white. Hey, somebody hopped on. Hello, hello. If you'll comment, I'll know who it is, because for some reason or another I am not getting those notifications. Let's see what happens when I take that off. Nothing. Alright, so that's card number 1. This was my original card that I used in my advertisement that said, "So glad that you're my dad," and I did put a strip of designer series paper in it. This was the one that I made to show that you can adapt them. If you don't have this stamp set, then any stamp set that you have that say happy birthday or whatever you want it to say. Alrighty, let's move on to second card. I think we're going to make this one that's on the pecan pie, and it has some embossing, and I do the embossing for you because that is not part of the bundle. And stick this one in the envelope so we're ready to go there. Let's talk about the embossing. This folder is called Exposed Brick. Now this bundle has an embossing folder that looks like rope. I don't own it. Gasp, I know, something I don't own. Well, let me just put it back in there. Quit fighting with it. So this pretty card, I did make it a retirement card because I'm sure there are men in your life who retire. And pecan pie and wild wheat, the exposed brick 3D embossing folder, Night of Navy, and our silver foil paper. You won't find that silver foil paper in the catalog. You will get a piece of it in your kit. Kind of depends if I die cut it or not. I'm going to have to think about that one. It is one of the dies in the bundle. That foil paper is an online exclusive item now, and you won't find it in the catalog, so you'll have to search silver foil specialty paper, and that's how you come up with it. I distressed that embossing folder some because it was just too plain, and you know we can't have too plain. There are lots of pieces for this one. So this is your traditional portrait card, which means it goes up and down this way. And fold that, kind of lay it out of the way. I did emboss another piece here. I had one that I had already embossed, and what I wanted to show you on this one was how to do the distressing, because I tried rubbing the ink pad over it, and that was too much. It got ink down in the grooves, and I didn't want that. I just wanted my ink on the raised parts. And I did that with a sponge dauber. We sell the sponge daubers. And I did it with pecan pie ink. And you have to be very gentle. So I do have a piece of scratch paper here on my, because you really just want the ink to go on the raised embossed part. Now some of it's going to go down on the bricks, and the cool thing about this card, it's just kind of on the bottom half, so you can practice up here on the part that's covered by the paper to kind of get your technique down. And like with everything else, exposed brick is not perfect, so you're not going to have the color applied the same. It's not going to grow mold and that lovely algae the same all over it. Some places will have more, some places will have less. See, it really works better to start your motion and work your way onto the paper so that you're not getting more than you want. I know there are other companies that make these sponge daubers. I have this one that I got free from scrapbook.com, and it's actually what I used on mine, and I liked the way that it applied it a lot better. This one I was a little heavy-handed as opposed to this one, because a lot of ink stays on that sponge dauber, so you end up getting it darker than you really intend. Okay, so then your piece, and it's just a very, very, very small mat, because the background piece is cut, I believe it's 1/8 of an inch bigger than the designer series paper, so you only end up with a 1/16 sticking out. So that's a very little amount. You're not going to see your embossing around those edges. Okay, we have our label that is die cut with the deckled rectangle dies. We have some stamping to do. We're going to produce our lure, and it is done. The lure, the outline is stamped in pecan pie, and I need to get my knot of navy to stamp the color. Right. And I think it's pretty cool that Stampin' Up managed to, and I'm going to do 2 of these because one of them is going to go on the inside. And these are pretty realistic. I have fished since I was a little girl. My grandparents had just a small pool in their backyard, and we loved to go fish. You'd catch perch, oh my goodness, especially with worms. I'm not a patient enough bass fisherman. Alrighty, excuse me while I stick my head in. I need to be able to see. Not too bad considering I wasn't able to see it very well. Yeah, I think I can see that one better. So there are those. We're going to have to do some die cutting because I did not do any of this ahead of time. Close this up. This is the piece of silver. And we are going to use this spoon. Do you know that was called a spoon? And then this one. So what I'm going to do while I'm laying it right here underneath your nose, is I'm going to go ahead and use some old washi tape to hold that die in place. If you've watched any of my videos, you know this hint. This is as old as Methuselah, so to speak. And then we're going to run that through. Just placed up underneath here. And I see something stuck in one of the little holes. You do want to keep all the little holes on your dies cleaned out. It does affect the quality of your die cuts if they get clogged, and every now and then give them a look over. Alrighty, that's the first go. And since I have two of them, oh, it came right out, except it's stuck. And then isn't that cool? Look at that. If you've ever looked at fishing lures, fish like that sparkly stuff. Kind of funny that they would care, but it catches their eye. So fishermen go for the sparkles in their fishing lures. And if you're a good enough fisherman, you know the times when to use the sparkles and the times when not to, but like I said, I'm not that technical. We laugh and say we're going boating, because you can only call it fishing if you catch something. Now, you notice that when I die cut the spoon, it also die cut a little detail. And what I'm going to do now, well, get back over there, I'm going to cut out just that detail. Make my sandwich here. Yum, a sandwich. Run it through to get my second lure. That second lure is going on the inside as a decoration, because you're probably going to wait. There are only two on that. That's trash, and this is trash, and I need that, and I need this. Alright, let's move this out of the way. Gotta be careful with that piercing tool. I keep my dies on a magnet because they don't fall off and get lost. See, I can see that hole is gonna be plugged. Okay, so we have our two lures. I have my silver spoon, and I need to mount this little piece. I think I will use a glue dot. The glue dot may be too big, so I'll downsize it just a little bit. And voila. Don't need that. Now let's stamp our happy retirement. And I mounted it. We can use the Knot of Navy. It's really not going to make a whole lot of difference, just something dark enough to be able to read it. If you have black, use black. Any color would work for that lure. Don't ask me why I picked Night of Navy, except that it's one of the coordinating colors for the rest of the designer series paper. Alright, let's finish assembling our card. This goes on the inside. It has gotten bent somehow or another. We'll just cover that up. This looks kind of wide. I hope it's not too wide. Get that all lined up. Ah, it is one of the pieces that's not quite. I'm trying something new for the size inside cards, because one of the girls I follow has figured out you can get 5 from a sheet if you make it a different size. Don't ask me what the size is. Yeah, 3 3/4 by 5 instead of 4 by 5 1/4. I just haven't quite figured out the spacing yet. Alright, so we've put our piece of designer series paper on the embossed. We embossed it with the exposed brick through the embossing folder. I think this brick is going downhill. I kind of thought it was whenever I got it cut out. These are mounted on dimensionals. And put one on the top, but I need to leave myself a little bit of space because this silver lure kind of nestles up underneath there. And I can just use some Stampin' Seal on the back of it. It's got to be flat. You can't put it on a dimensional. That one there. I did not put any of the, I'll go back, matte dots on that other one. Let's make this one sparkly too. A little bit of Wink of Stella. When you're making masculine cards, you don't always think Wink of Stella. But for this card, you can certainly do that. And then we'll put this little guy, if I can pick it up, on the inside. And I'm going to put it right there where that crease is. Alright, let me get out the matte dots. And there are black ones. As you can see, these are nearly all used up. There are gray ones. There are very vanilla, and there are the basic white. So I think for this card, I had used gray, and I think I'm going to go back with the gray. I wanted to use all of the colors. So there's that one, and to a great guy. How about if we use I think we'll use the very vanilla ones this time. Let's see. Let's put one there. There aren't any very vanilla left on this other one. Let's put one here. There's really no rhyme nor reason. And one here. That kind of frames your sentiment. You know what? What I may do, I'm going to trim this a little bit. And trim this a little bit. I think I'm going to use a glue dot. underneath this bow. To get it to kind of stay in place. These back in the, these are passport holders, and they work great for a lot of our embellishments. Then you're not having to mess with that little plastic sack every time. Alright, so that one, we've finished it now. And this is our second card. What do you think? I think it's pretty nice for a retirement card. I wish I knew somebody retiring that I could send that to. Alright, let's get our last card. I really think this is probably my favorite card of the three. Good things come to those who wait. And that would be a great retirement card because, I mean, you know, good things come to those who wait and who have worked for however many years to finally retire. So another cool thing about this one, we use that same paper, but there are so many choices in this package of paper. You could use this piece. You could use this piece. Let's see what else we got. I think those are, oh, well, I haven't used this one for anything. It's a lot of green. Has a lovely stripe on the back. So if you didn't want to use that same big fish, sorry, I just love that big fish. Some of the cards I made, I cut the fish out by hand. Then the other side, that's where we got our plaid piece. And then this looks like wood, but it's blue. First I thought it was like denim, but it's not. It's a wood grain. Alright, so all these pieces are going to come together to make that card. And I have not scored that yet. I don't like trying to fold it without scoring it first. Everybody has their preference, and mine is to go ahead and score. And I just scored at 4 1/4 for this card. We have a piece of Mossy Meadow. I don't have the list of colors in there. And our fish. And we can go ahead and get those mounted. Whoops. Come on. Don't give up on me now. Just the standard mat around it. And then we can go ahead and mount it on the card base. And we'll have that built. Because we've got some die cutting and stamping to do. This one uses Calypso Coral. As you may notice that these fish have orange. And yes, trout have orange. They're quite colorful. That was quite crooked. Let's see if I can get it off. Watch me fix it. Like, fix it, Nana. I've heard that a time or two. Move it over. I'll try to hold it up for just a little bit. Alright, so we're going to do our stamping. Did you notice this bobber? Well, those pieces, I'm going to need that piece. Going to need that piece, and then I need this piece, because what this piece is, it's the part that the string, it holds the string in place. It probably has a technical term, but I don't know what it is, because I don't make these things for a living. So we'll get our die cutting done, and I had not done that ahead of time. wanted to show you how to make these cards. This is really an easy card. Just looks hard. Where's the cover? Oh, the cover's right here. I'm not going to put that over in front of your face this time, because you know what die cutting looks like. Running it through. And I'll bring it back over here. Got our white part, our Calypso coral part, and our crumb cake part. Get that punched out. And put that back on the magnet, because that piece is teensy weensy. Itsy bitsy. Oh, you know what? Well, it's okay. It will work. It's going to be a little different. I did these backwards, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal, because I can, yeah, it'll still be fine. I'm going to use my silicone mat, because I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. If I were just making them by myself, I would use my contraband glue, but I'm not making them by myself. You're watching me. Little bitty pieces like that. I've got a fine tip glue that is not a Stampin' Up product. Alright, I think I'm just going to put, may not be in the middle quite enough, because this is pretty small. You want it centered as much as you can. Yep, that's stuck. And let's stamp our good things come to those who wait. Turn that this way. And it's on very vanilla. Like I said, I'll do this die cutting for you, because this is not part of the bundle. Smeared a little bit. The G, I don't know what it did. And I'm using my Stampin' Chamois to clean, because I got ink down in the grooves of that. It's just mounted flat on the piece of Misty Moonlight. I love Misty Moonlight. I had kept mine from when it wasn't in color however many years back, and whenever it was going to be pulled out and put in our core colors, I was so excited because I already had it. Let's close the Calypso coral, because you know it's a red and they make a mess. Dimensionals to the rescue. And I'm going to use a strip right across the middle. I use every piece of these dimensionals. No rule says that they have to be this, what's a six-sided? No, that's 7. Anyway, it has to be. Now, you've got a choice here, because if I put it smack in the middle, I'm going to cover that fish. I could put it down, but I'm going to kind of compromise on covering up that fish or that fish. And here's our bobber, and I am going to put it on a dimensional. One reason, it does help hold that crumb cake piece in place, because it straddles it on either side of it. And I can mount it on the dimensional that I put on that corner. And let's finish this card off with some of the black matte dots. I'm just going to use these small ones because that's what's left on here. Do that spot. Do that spot. And that spot. You know, you're free to use however many you want. Just because I use 3 doesn't mean you have to use 3. So that's our card and what I did on the inside. Because this was very vanilla, I didn't feel like I needed a liner. So I'm going to use black to stamp the outline of a cork or a bobber. Oh, come on. Clean it off. Then I'm going to put Calypso Coral for the color on this bobber. Because, you know, bobbers are red and white. There are other colors. Those are the colors that we use. Oh, man, I got Calypso Coral everywhere. There you go. Isn't that neat? All of a sudden, you've got a very realistic bobber. Alright, so the cool thing about this card kit, you have until midnight Wednesday, June 21st to order. And today, Stampin' Up! Announced that you can get free shipping on Wednesday. Your order has to be $75 or more. Well, you were already needing to place a $35 order using my host code to get this card class. But to get free shipping, $75 or more, use the host code and get the card class. So I'm thinking that's not a bad deal to get a free card class in the mail, $75 plus of fabulous products, free shipping. The thing about the card class, I'm paying to ship it to you. That's like a benefit of using that host code and ordering product. So really, to get it, you only have to do a $35 order, but minimum shipping is $7.95. So that's why they are requiring a $75 order to get free shipping. So this is Gone Fishing, the bundle. Stay tuned for more updates. With your $50 order, you'll get a package of the classic matte dots. My next card class is coming up on June the 29th, my in-person card class. So if you're local to me and you can attend that, you got to let me know pretty soon. I'll be cutting and preparing for that the rest of this week and early next week, so time's clicking on that. This order has to be in by midnight Wednesday night. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you have time to go fishing. This Gone Fishing class. Thanks for your time and see you later.